What's up, guys? I'm doing a video about the forums everywhere and everywhere else on YouTube, people saying that Sunbreakers need to be nerfed. And right off the bat, I'm just going to tell you I don't really agree with it. Because most of the people talking about it are people in Crucible, not so much PvE. More Crucible people, and most of the people that I notice saying that Sunbreaker needs to be nerfed are hunters. So, right off the bat, for you people saying that Sunbreaker needs to be nerfed, what about when we were talking about your golden gun getting nerfed for the last year and never got nerfed? You guys didn't care that we wanted it to get nerfed, you guys just kept using it. So I don't see why Sunbreaker needs to be nerfed when your golden gun could one-shot any super in the game, except somebody with a Sunsinger and Radiant skin. That's the only thing the golden gun could not one-shot. And if you put on Nighthawk, it could one-shot it. So I just don't think it really needs to be nerfed, because the only thing that really makes it OP is the super. The melees and nades are kind of average. Like, I use Thermal Vent and Thermite. I use Incinerary and Crucible. The main thing that I think people are saying needs to be nerfed is Cauterize. And I could see that, but other people were talking about, like this one guy was saying that you cannot one-shot a Sunbreaker and a super with a golden gun. That's a lie. You can one-shot a Sunbreaker and his hammer and his super with a golden gun without a Nighthawk. Just a regular golden gun is enough. And then, plus, you guys have Shadow Shot. So just use that. And if you put on Quiver, you can do it 3 times. I'm not really sure what the problem is. So we get our super, this class is not that OP. And most people don't use Scorched Earth for Firekeeper and Crucible, so really the only thing that needs to be talked about is Cauterize. And then this other guy that I was watching, well, I wasn't watching him, he was talking about it. He was saying that make it so the damage reduction will make it so you can one-shot him with a sniper rifle in the head. I'd be okay with that, because pretty much every other super can do that. But completely taking away the damage reduction would just make it not, like, good at all. Blade Dancers get 50% in their super, so we should be able to have at least 30. I don't know the exact percentage on Hammer of Soul, but it's got to be at least, like, 25%. I think we should at least have that much. Because if we don't, as soon as we activate our supers, we're just going to get wrecked. And then the nades, like I was saying, the nades are not that great. I mean, Fusion and Thermite are pretty good for PvE, but for PvP, I mean, I see people use Fusion in PvP, but every time I use it, I can't get it to stick anybody, so I just stick to Incinerary. If it had a nade like Trip Mine or something, that'd probably be OP in the Crucible. That's another thing. On Gunslingers, you guys have Trip Mines, Incinerary Grenades. I can't remember the name of that other garbage nade that's like Skip Nade. I can't remember the name of it. But you guys got that nade, then you got Golden Gun. And then Blade Dancers, I always hated Blade Dancers, except when I was using one, because they get 50% damage reduction, Hungering Blade, and Razor's Edge. And they can go Invis. It was just OP, and most people just sit in corners with a shotgun in the cloak. It's normally what all people do. I mean, I have seen some Blade Dancers that wouldn't do that, but most of the time, they would do it. And then plus, all you hunters are abusing the Shadow Shot glitch in Iron Banner right now, so when we kill you with our hammer, I don't want to hear it. Titan has had the Shaft in the other 2 subclasses. I mean, Striker was okay for PvP and PvE, but Defender wasn't that great in PvP, because people would just shut down your bubble or come in with a shotgun unless you had Armor of Light. So now that we got a good subclass, everyone wants to complain about it and it's got to get nerfed, even though you guys had Gunslinger for the entire first year. And then Warlocks, I ain't really got anything to say about Warlocks. It's more of a hunter thing, because the Warlocks haven't really been saying anything that I can see. It's most of it just the hunters. I mean, I get it's kind of OP that we can throw a hammer across the map and it can blow somebody up, but you can shoot a golden gun across the map. So I don't really see what the problem is. And then plus, your golden gun is an accuracy thing. We kind of got to get lucky with our hammers. It takes a lot more precision to do that with a hammer than it does the golden gun. And then if you're playing regular Crucible, because I don't know if the Apostles Veil, or that's Warlock, the Symbiote made it to year 2 or not. But if it didn't, when you're playing regular Crucible, and you put that on, you got 4 shots right there. 4 shots, I can take out a Titan's Bubble, kill a Blade Dancer, kill a Titan in his Hammer of Soul. If 1 shot's basically anything except a Sunsinger of Radiant Skin. So, you guys have lots of ways to shut down our super, so... And then a Warlock can just Nova Bomb him. Stormcaller sometimes works, but I think a Titan and Hammer of Soul would beat a Warlock. So, considering there's Nova Bomb, Fist of Havoc if it's another Titan, Golden Gun, Blade Dancer with Razor's Edge, or Showstopper. I'm not really sure what the big deal with this needs to be nerfed is, considering it's like our only good Crucible subclass. Shadow Shot and Shade Step are kind of OP in the Crucible, because Shade Step, you can just get out of basically anything. I mean, if you're next to a wall and you use that, the guy's not going to kill you. Unless he's got really good accuracy, he's not going to kill you. You're going to get out of the way. And then you can just shotgun him. And then Blade Dancer's got Blink. Void Walker's got Blink. We don't have that. That's been something that's been over Titans for the last year. So, I just don't see what the big deal is with Sunbreaker getting nerfed. You guys have dominated the Crucible for a year. It's time another class got its time. Although I've liked Sunsinger for the last year. I found that really fun to use with Viking Funeral. And I'm not a Hunter hater or a Warlock hater. If you watch my YouTube channel, I use all 3 classes, but I main a Titan. So I just think it's not right that everyone's going, oh, let's nerf the Sunbreaker because it's got a little bit too much damage reduction. Or it's got Cauterize, or it's got this, it's got that. I'm just not seeing it. If you guys use a Hunter, then, you know, you guys just have so many different ways you can shut down the super. Now, the thing is we can't one-hit Blade Dancers. I think Suncharge can do it, but just a regular hammer will not one-hit a Blade Dancer. And then you guys can come up and just smack us in the face unless we're at range. And for another note, the damage reduction isn't that much. It's basically the same as a Stormcaller. I actually think Stormcaller and Sunbreaker have the same damage reduction. The only difference is the Sunbreaker can get overshields and Cauterize. That's basically it. But a Warlock can cause much more AoE damage with Stormcaller, especially if you put Superconductor on. And then Transcendence makes that last for if you're not zapping 25 seconds. That's redonkulous in a game of Crucible or PvE. If it wasn't for Forge Master, the hammer wouldn't be as good in the Crucible. Because the Forge Master, in my opinion, is really what makes it kind of annoying because it lasts forever. So if you guys are against Forge Master, I can respect that. But just for the super itself, I'm not seeing it. Because without Forge Master, it doesn't even last that long. And Suncharge has to be at close range. You guys can easily eliminate us with a rocket launcher if you have heavy, a scout rifle. A sniper rifle with a high impact is 1 headshot and 1 body shot, or 3 body shots. So if we're at range and we don't see you, or we can't hit you, you guys should easily be able to take us out with a sniper rifle. And then shotguns only take 2 shots. Like the Chaperone, if you use that, you can blow a Titan away in his hammer at close range. It only takes 3 shots, 2 if you hit all crits, and that thing fires extremely fast. So, I mean, there's just other ways to do it, and people are acting like it's an invincible class that, cannot be killed. And you get killed all the time with this thing, unless you're facing noobs. If you're facing noobs, you're not going to die, but if you're facing experienced players, unless you're constantly getting Cauterized in, it's not going to work out that well. Because they're going to have other counters to do. Get rid of your super whip. Yeah, it's me. I think exotic swords are more OP than the class as far as PvE goes. Raise lighter one hits just about anything. I mean, 1,000-yard stare. I'm not sure. I don't really snipe in the Crucible, so I'm not sure how much damage it does. But I know it almost kills a Sunbreaker in the head. I mean, if they just made it so you could one-shot with a sniper rifle in the head, I think that'd be good enough. Maybe lower the damage reduction by like 5 or 10%, and then I guess that's good enough. But Blade Dancers have more damage reduction. Radiance has more damage reduction. And then plus, Warlocks can get a Flame Shield. And you can say Defenders can get a Force Barrier, but you actually have to kill something to get the Force Barrier. You have to kill it with a punch. With a Warlock, all you have to do is melee something and you get a Flame Shield. A lot easier to do, especially in a game of Crucible. And then I shut down other Titans all the time with just a shotgun. And then sometimes I'll do it with my primary, just with a Hawkmoon by shooting them in the back. Now, most of the time, unless they're distracted, you're not going to get to shoot them in the back, but still. So I just want to hear y'all's thoughts on what you think about the Sunbreaker nerf. Personally, I don't think it's necessary. If we had free OP subclasses, well, not even OP, just like free all-around good subclasses like Warlock, then maybe I could see it, but this is basically our only like outstanding class that we have. Whereas Warlocks, they got Voidwalker, which is good in some instances, same with Sunsinger and Stormcaller. Hunter's kind of balanced. I mean, Night Stalker, I haven't actually gotten to play Night Stalker yet, but I don't think I'm going to be all that into it because the super is more of a support thing, and I'm not really a team player, so I don't really think I'm going to like that. But Gunslinger's alright in PvE, and then Blade Dancer's probably the best of the free classes for PvE, I think, just because of the Invis and the super. I don't think Golden Gun like does enough damage in PvE. And people want to argue that Hunters, or did I say PvP? I don't know if I said PvP or not, but PvE. Anyways, people want to argue and say that Hunter's the least like relevant in the free subclasses, or the free actual classes. And I believe that for PvE. I think that they're pretty bad in PvE, other than some instances. But for PvP, they're the most OP. And now they're going around complaining about how we're OP and we're this, and now they're acting like they got the weak subclass like we did for the last year. And I just think it's garbage, because if this gets nerfed, then we're going to be back to where we were. Hunters are going to be dominant, and everything else. I think all free subclasses and classes should all be balanced. I don't think one subclass or class should be better than another. I think the whole point of the subclasses was for different situations. That's the whole point of them, not to use one subclass all the time and have it be super OP. So I think if they just balance the free classes out, then that would be better, instead of just nerfing stuff all the time. So I want to know what you guys think. In a second, I got something for all you hunter people, but I'm going to finish this fight, and then I got something for you hunters. And it's not even just hunters, it's just people complaining that the Sunbreaker should be nerfed in general. Nah, well, I didn't kill her. Whatever. I wasn't gonna get to finish it before the end of the video anyways. I was just trying to give you guys something to watch. So this is for all you hunters and other people saying that Sunbreaker's OP and it's like insanely overpowered, needs a nerf and all this. This is for you guys.
Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
That's how I truly feel about it. Because you guys didn't care when you were dominant in the Crucible. Just like Warlocks didn't care about how they could shut down anything with their Nova Bomb and have a City of Mind and the Ram on in Trials of Osiris. Yeah, nobody cared then when Titans were the underdogs and nobody wanted to pick them up in raids, or in Crucible you only saw, back when the game first came out, you saw like 8 Titans in like 7 games. That's what you saw. But now, since Titans are becoming an up-and-coming thing with Sunbreaker and everyone's using that, oh, we gotta nerf that, we better get that out of here real fast because hunters ain't on top of the food chain anymore. And I just think it's garbage. So, let me know what you guys think about it, and I'll watch the comments and we can debate down there. And I'll see you guys on the next video.